Hello again, ladies and gentlemen. This is Scott and John from the Mercenary Miniature Painter Warhammer channel. And today we've got a battle between the Bretonnians, who I'm bringing after many months of trying to get them ready for a game, and John's Orcs and Goblins, who are actually a mix of Orcs and Goblins, not just a horrible horde of Night Goblins, which is nice. So we're just doing a pitch battle today. So a bit of an Orky camp table. So the Bretonnians have got fed up with the Orcs on their border and they've come in to try and remove them. So we go over the list as usual, and I will be praying, so John will have the first turn.
Evening, ladies and gentlemen, it's John from the Mercenary Miniature YouTube channel, and I am playing the Orcs and Gobbos tonight. So for the core, we have 20 Orc boys, full command. They have got shields. If I'm playing Bretonnians, how can you leave home without Night Goblins? So we got one unit here, they've got 9 fanatics, and then the other unit here with about 15, I think. Scott had a moment of panic in the background then.
So what are you going to turn out?
Wolf Chariot over there. Goblin Wolf Chariot over there. A big unit of Black Orcs there. They've got great weapons to try and smash a few Bretonnians before they get smashed. And then we need the artillery. We've got one spear chucker there, one spear chucker there, catapult, and the Doom Diver. And who can have Orcs and Goblins without El Gigante over there? Look how pretty he is. And then for the characters, we've got, I'm being a sneaky devil because I'm pretty certain Scott hasn't really got any shooting or much magic. So we got one level 2 Orc Shaman out there. He got Headbutt and the Magic Missile level 1. Then we got the 2 Night Goblin Shamans over here. They're both level 2s. One got the same as the Orc Shaman, and then the other one got the movement spell, which is the 6, and Headbutt as well. And then the big Orc boss on the Wyvern. If you've been watching the channel, you know I love a monster, so how could I not bring him? And that is 2,000 points on the nose of Orcs and Goblins. Over to Scott.
So for the Bretonnians, I am bringing 2 units of Realm Knights. So I've got 8 in this unit here and 8 in this unit here. They've both got full command. I've got 8 Errants with full command. And then I've got 5 Yeomen on horses. I've got 9 Grail Knights in my rare slot. And I've got 3 Pegasus Knights here for characters. I've got Lord Carcassonne over there. He's my Bretonnian Lord. And then his Battle Standard Bearer running his colours next to him with the lovely Lady Damsel behind them. And then I have another, what are they called? Paladin over here, and a Paladin on a gigantic Old World Pegasus who's like 15 times the size of these knights, but still a lovely model nonetheless. But as with anything with a nice new pretty paint job, I'm sure they're about to get banged up horribly. So as I said,
I hope so.
I am praying that these bolt throwers don't mince my units. So on to John for turn 1.
Right, Orcs and Goblins turn 1 was a very mixed bag, but ended pretty well for me in the end. So movement, the Night Goblins shuffled up there, Black Orcs reformed to there, Wolf Chariot come to there, this chap moved there, his sneaky old mate stayed in there. These 2 big fellas have come hiding behind the wood there. Wolf Chariot there, these Orcs shuffled up a bit, these Night Goblins shuffled back a bit. So in the magic phase, this chap here hit Scott's BSB with Headbutt. Scott did have a magic resistance 3. What's the icon called?
Holy Icon.
Holy Icon, but even on 4 dice he couldn't stop it. But I failed to wound him. And then this chap here done the same to the knights that were here. Scott never stopped it again, and I failed to wound again. This chap here done the double doing doodads, done it to the errant knights, and then I failed to wound again, even though Scott didn't stop it, and then Scott stopped the itty ring from this bloke. That was magic. In the shooting, the guest ranges, my stone chucker landed dead on the centre of the Grail Knights, but he misfired and blew himself up. So that chap's gone. But this chap here, he landed straight on the centre of the knights that were next to the Grail Knights, rolled a 6 for 6 wounds, and then done 5 of them. And those boys ran off the table.
Taking my paladin with them.
They have a paladin in there as well today. Yeah. Oh, even better. Spear chucker over here. Done a wound to these boys. And then this one missed. But all in all, I'm pretty happy with that. Orcs and Goblins turn 1. Over to the Bretonnians.
Bretonnia turn 1. So probably first few turns here are going to be quite quick, as I don't have much to do other than come forward. So I've reformed over here to try and deal with the monsters in the middle. The Pegasus Knights have flown up over here. Grail Knights have decided they don't care if they're going to take a ton of fanatics and shooting and all kinds of other horrible stuff. They're going to get stuck in as soon as they can. And the Paladin on the Pegasus trying to come up around these guys. The Yeomen here are the only ones that really did anything this turn. They moved up into the middle to try and take some pot shots at this guy. They almost got a hit, but with all the minuses and stuff, it ended up being nothing. So that is a big kind of nothing turn. Really just trying to maneuver into position and actually try and get some charges off. So we'll see if John can blast away another unit of knights before I manage to do that. On to turn 2.
Right, Orcs and Goblins turn 2. The movement. The Wyverns come to the flank of these chaps here. El Gigantes just turn around to face up to the Grail Knights. These boys are just protecting their Doom Diver. Wolf Chariots turn there to a bit of funny business. These boys come up, release some fanatics. One went through, only killed one knight. This chariot's come to here. These gobblers are shuffled round and have been joined by this chap here. Black Orc stayed where they are. Boltthrower stayed where it is. Shaman shifted back. Magic phase. I failed every single spell I went to cast. 2 headbutts and my Shaman went to move the giant in. And then Scott stopped the itty ring. And then in the shooting phase, the Doom Diver was on the unit again, but scattered just shy. I did re-roll the scatter, but it was worse. It went in the trees. This bolt thrower hit, wounded, but Scott made his ward save. And then that one over there, never done nothing. So only one Grail Knight this turn, sadly, for the Orcs and Goblins. And on to Scott for Bretonnia turn 2.
Bretonnia turn 2, and this Wyvern is messing with me. So my errants failed their terror check and ran, and they were then directly in front of the big block of Realm Knights, who basically just had to try and put themselves between them and the errants to see if the Wyvern wants to try and slam into the side of them or not. The Grail Knights managed to get a charge on the giant. These guys moved around. He flew up. They came up to here. The fanatics got released from these goblins, but stopped short of hitting me. And then I chose not to smash through them because they had the madcap mushrooms, so I didn't fancy it. Magic, I didn't cast anything because it seemed too risky. I think I didn't mention at the beginning, but I only have Mistress of the Marsh, so it doesn't affect flyers and it's not really useful on anything else. These guys shot up a fanatic and did kill him. And then in the combat phase, I did 4 wounds on the giant, which wasn't enough to kill him. And then he stuffed these 3 knights in his pants. He lost the combat, but he's quite enjoying all the wriggling knights in his underwear, and so he's sticking around for another turn. So there we go, on to turn 3. It's not looking great for Bretonnia.
Right, Orcs and Goblins turn 3. There was quite a few charges this turn. Animosities. These chaps failed their animosity there. So I was a wizard dang, but he is the worst one, so it wasn't the end of the world. This chariot went into the Pegasus Knights. these night goblins went in the side of these blokes. I think you know how that went. And then the wyvern, obviously the large target you could see over, charged the errant knights. They didn't run far enough, so he ran them down. In everything else, the orcs just turned round. I was going to try and move them. In the magic phase, this chariot went to there. The black orcs shuffled up. These were obviously animosity'd. This shaman just shuffled back, and that was that. In the magic phase, I did get the movement spell off on these boys, but Scott had the silver shield, so I ended up doing a wound to my shaman, and then everything else never went off or was stopped. I tried targeting the yeoman. In the shooting, again, the Doom Diver was right on top of his big block, but I scattered 10 and rerolled the scatter, and it was still miles away. And the Bolt Thrower, the furthest one away, hit, killed one knight. That one missed. Then on to the combats. The Chariot only rolled a 1 for his impact hits. I done 1 wound and Scott saved it with his ward save. In the combat, I never done anything. Scott done 1 wound back. So outnumbered and done a wound. I was a 3 to stay, which I rolled. So that's how they stay. And then in this one, his poor knights couldn't wound the giant. Done nothing. They managed to kill 2 goblins, but I ranked outnumbered flanks. I won by 2. And then these boys rolled a 7 and have ran a long way away. So they have got a good chance of rallying. And then obviously this is where I'm to here. On to Bretonnia turn 3. Scott's got a bit to do with the looks of it.
Turn 3 Bretonnia, and finally stuff is starting to go a little bit nice. Well, didn't start that way. The Grail Knights didn't rally, as you can see, so they've run off, which has taken a big chunk of points with them. He's moved up. Paladin on the Pegasus has charged the Doom Diver, and these guys have just tried to get stuck in because they really need to do some work to get some points back for me. Magic, I actually tried to cast a spell for once. I tried to get Mistress of the Marsh off on the Night Goblins, but it didn't. No, sorry, on the Black Orcs, but it was dispelled. Shooting, these guys managed to nail the wounded Orc Shaman over here and killed him. So even though they were hitting on 7s, they've just about managed to do something this game, which is nice. He's run through, killed the Doom Diver, and then panicked them, but didn't overrun far enough to kill them, unfortunately. And then they might have been a bit too successful. So despite the Pegasus themselves actually doing nothing, rolling low, all 1s and 2s to hit, the riders did kill the chariot, but now, unfortunately, because it was the second round of combat, they can't overrun, and they are sat a bit precariously over here. So that's how the table looks at the moment. I don't have many units on the board, but I didn't start with many. So let's see what John can do in his turn 4.
Right, turn 4 for the Orcs was quite a quick one, other than me deliberating what to do over with this hot mess here. This one fanatic here moved right in the way of my Night Goblins and cocked up all the plans, annoyingly. So they obviously can't go through him, so that's how they've had to move there. Old Wyverns come up to there. Black Orcs have reformed that way. El Gigantes gone to there. These Goblins have moved up to here. Chariot over there. And the Orc boys to there. Magic phase. He done 2 headbutts. He done it and then double do and do does it again. Scott managed to stop one and I got one through, which done a wound to the Knights. And then shooting, Bolt Thrower into the Knights again. He rolled a 4 when he needed a 5. So that was Ogre, Orcs and Goblins turn 4. On to the Bretts turn 4. No charge to declare, I take it, Scott.
Bretonnians turn 4. It was pretty quick. The Pegasus Knights charged down the Odgit Shaman, and he did run away, trying to draw them further into the field, but they've run him down. Knights over here charged the Bolt Thrower and smashed through it, and they've overrun into the Black Orcs. This guy has moved up threateningly into the flank. These are trying to get away from the chariot, although it's a bit of a struggle. And that is really all I've got. So it's all about this big charge and what John can do to stop it in his turn.
Right, Orc turn 5. Charges. The Night Goblins went in against the big block with the Lord in. And the Orcs threatened the Yeoman. The Yeoman fled and got to there. That's where they ended up. And these were scared of being flank charged by some nasty little gobos. So they've gone to there.
Don't sound too happy about it, John.
No, I know. To be honest, I thought my Black Orcs were going to get minced, and then that happened. I'm sorry, I couldn't help but smile. The Black Orcs just performed that way. The Wyverns flew over here. This chap here is playing the Dancing with Death with the Fanatic. In the magic phase, he tried 2 headbutts. One went off, Scott stopped it, he doodad it, and I didn't get it off on the Pegasus Knights. So that was Orc turn 5. On the Scott turn 5, he's got 1 major rally, or I think we can call it a day there.
Do it on camera. Alright, Bretonians turn 5, not really much to say. Obviously happy that these have rallied. I would have liked to have done more with the Paladin, but I suspect John was going to try and block me with the Night Goblins. With only 1 turn to go, I don't want to risk it, so he's just making sure that that doesn't happen. These also rallied, which was a nice bonus, and these have decided to swoop around to try and make sure the Giant is in their crosshairs next turn, because I need the points from somewhere. So final turn for the Orcs coming up.
Right, Orcs turn 6. We done the best we could with what we had. The Night Goblins moved in there. The Black Orcs reformed again to face these Knights.
The Giant's hiding in the woods, just to keep my poor Grail Knights in his path.
He's got the prized possession. Why would he go elsewhere? He's gone to there. The Orcs over there have just stayed. Chariot moved over into there. These Night Goblins are there. Wyvern stayed there. And then this chap in the magic phase blasted a Pegasus away with Headbutt. And then in the combat phase, the Night Goblins won combat by 3, but the Paladin held. Probably the only thing that has held for Scott's army. So on to Bretonians turn 6. Let's see what they can do.
So final turn, the Yeoman actually got revenge on the Night Goblins for panicking me earlier, and they panicked them with a quick charge, saving him. And he's flown over to make sure that John doesn't get that table quarter. They've done the same, as they couldn't charge the Giant, and they weren't going to waste their time on the Night Goblins. And then over here, the Lord did 4 wounds in a challenge on the unit champ, and then I did 1 wound with a horse and a couple more wounds with the Knights, and then the 1 Black Orc, even though he popped the banner of butchery, failed to kill any back, and they've lost massively, so they auto broke and got run down. But it might be too little too late. It looks like it might be a draw, but we are going to tally up the points and we're going to come back.
Ready?
All right, John, what we got?
We've got the Orcs, including 1 table quarter and 1 banner, done 1084. And the Brets, including 1 banner for the Black Orcs and 1 table quarter, done 1228. So about 140 points difference in favour of the Bretonians. But it was a draw in the end. Good game. Fun game.
Yep, I think my leadership roles were what hurt me in this one. Just some big fleas when I could have done it. To be honest, the Grail Knights really whiffed their attacks on the Giant as well. I think I missed so many.
Killing in that one.
Yeah.
And then breaking from combat as well. Obviously, really, you only had 2. If you would have kept both those 2 units on the table, what's that, the best part of like 1,300 points, those 2 units?
Yeah.
And then, like I said, you probably comfortably win the game.
Yeah, I think, to be honest, the men of the match for these buggers here. So they might have fled at the end, but the fact that they saved their brethren over here, I think, really did make a difference in the game. Your magic, considering you had complete domination, was abysmal.
Yeah.
Did you get? I think you killed 1 errant knight with
1
spells.
Pegasus Knight in the end.
Yeah.
But and I had the decent spells as well. I had the headbutts and stuff like that. Yeah, I as soon as you sort of compromised all my war machines, I was a bit struggling really because I couldn't get anything in. that was going to hit hard enough to actually get you out of it.
I think this guy did pretty well because
just terror and doing that.
Terror and just generally slowing my line down at the beginning. Because as you said, without the war machines, I didn't really have much to fear.
Obviously, as soon as I learned you had a 4-up ward save on them, I wasn't charging him in. And when he might have gone in when you charged the Black Orcs originally, because obviously it was my turn, he could have gone in. But then when they fled, obviously the Night Goblins.
I'm just worried about what's going to happen to the 3 knights that are in his pants.
Oh, they're in serious trouble.
I think we're going to have to organise a crusade to come and try and save them. Because they're supposed to be... The Grail Knights are like the saints of the Bretonnia, so...
That's probably the only time a giant's ever done anything in our games.
I think so, yeah. It is nice to actually... It's because I don't have anything to shoot it off the board, so it is nice nice to see it actually get to do some fighting.
Took all those attacks from the Grail Knights on the charge and then survived it, and then stuff to lay down his pants was pretty entertaining. But no, fun game. I love your brats, mate. They look brilliant.
Thank you very much. I always enjoy playing the Orcs and Goblins. But yeah, thanks everyone. Hope you enjoyed at home. You will see plenty more of both of these armies. And yeah, that's it. We've been the Mercenary Miniature Painter channel. Please like and subscribe, share the video, comment below, all that stuff. It does help. And we will see you next week.